Getting ready to head into another big week, heading down to Tallahassee, playing a really talented football team at home, highly motivated to be able to get to bowl eligibility. An offense that has a quarterback that has a great arm, great skill players, a defense that, watching tape this week or Sunday and today, very few people have been able to get much going early in the game. It appears as though later in the game people are able to make some hay against them. Maybe that's got to do with the fact the defense is on the field a little bit longer, but this is a very talented football team. No one ever had any doubt about that. We're talking about 4 and 5 stars everywhere. Top recruiting classes that didn't go away. So this is a talented team and a motivated team on their home field, which will create a big challenge for us. Obviously, we need to have a great week. We came off of a very emotional game. A lot of energy was put into that game. A game which I, after reviewing it, believe that we played with a tremendous amount of intensity. We got dealt, a tough blow early, and the kids responded with great effort, great intensity. And now we have to rally back up because we have a chance to get the 8th win of our season, which has not been something that's happened a lot here. And there's a lot left here to go. Our team's got a great mindset and a great attitude. Anthony Brown had an abdominal injury. He's day-to-day, but doing well. So I think we're prepared to have a great week this week, a great focus, and need to get prepared to bring that down on the road with us. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
And just wait for the mic. We'll get it to you. Steve, in AB's case, are you preparing as if he can go, or do you have to just roll with EJ?
I think it's day-to-day, so I think obviously, EJ's going to get a bunch of reps, and then we'll see how that goes each day. But Anthony's doing well. But I'm not a doctor. I'm not I don't know. What does that exactly mean? Well, I guess tomorrow morning I'll get another update and be able to figure out, does he take active reps? If so, how many? And we'll go from there.
Like a late week decision, or?
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know that. Maybe not. Maybe. And I think I'm cautiously optimistic, and we'll see how it all goes.
Just about AJ too.
AJ is really honestly the same as it's been each week. I think he comes off of the game. Doesn't feel great on Sundays and Mondays, and then as the week goes on, we see improvement. I think we're trying to see if we can get to the point where we get some real practice reps, because what's happening right now is we're not able to get any practice reps, and that affects us. I would say day to day from the status of practice reps. It's trying to dictate what the previous game impact had on that ankle. But again, as I said Saturday, I give a lot of credit to AJ. He's really tried to battle through this every week. This is a very, very tough injury for a running back, and usually typically one that's going to linger until you get an extended period of time where you can get beyond it. And so he's certainly not having the opportunity to play at the level he wants to play at. But the fact that he is shows you the kind of toughness and determination he has to do whatever he can do for as long as he can do it to help the team.
Back to FSU, is there any discernible differences between Francois and Blackman? And do you have to kind of game plan, because you really don't know what Coach Taggart's going to do there?
Yeah, I think they're both. There's some similarities in both, but they both throw the ball well. They're more passers first than runners first. So I think both of them. We've played them both. They're both talented guys, and so I don't think it'll affect how we prepare. Obviously, one's got a little bit more banked experience, but to some degree, kind of similar skill sets.
I want to ask you about some of the playmakers you have on defense, specifically Hamp and Wyatt, and kind of they're up near the top of the stats. What have you seen from them that have, this year that kind of?
Well, the biggest playmaker on that defense right now is Zach Allen. I mean, he's making plays all over that field that anybody can see. But certainly Hamp has made a bunch of plays in terms of INTs, which are recorded on levels in the NCAA, and Wyatt has got a bunch of sacks. But I think those are just two guys on a defense that's very opportunistic and that has made a lot of big plays. I think the biggest impact that we have defensively is certainly we've done a good job with sacks and takeaways, but we've also created a lot of unsettlement to quarterbacks with hurries and hits. And so there's a lot going into that. But I think those two guys have done a good job, as I said, with INTs and sacks, and both athletic guys and and experienced guys. But we have a number of those guys on our defense right now.
Do you think that Zach's play is benefiting Wyatt and that kind of team trying to stay away from him?
Well, I think there's no question that they are. It's all complementary football right now. But Zach Allen's been completely dominant in every game, run, pass, everything, and Wyatt's playing exceptionally well. So those are two of the best ends in the country. I mean, they're exceptional players. And that'll prove itself to be true. So, got to have another big game out of those guys, and Ray Smith and Tanner Carafa inside, and we got to have another great game in the back end. We're playing fairly aggressively. I mean, we held the #2 team in the country and one of the most potent offenses in America that averages 48 points a game. They scored 20 points on our defense. Which gave us a great opportunity going into the fourth quarter, as we said we wanted. And, had we had an opportunity to keep our quarterback healthy beyond 6 plays into the game, that would have been the kind of game that, at the end, it was still a great game, but it would have been a game at the end that we would hope that we could get it to, which was, really, really close going in the fourth quarter with an opportunity to win it. But again, the way we played against that team, I'm not sure anybody's played them to that level, and especially without your starting quarterback. So I thought it was an outstanding effort against. I told you last week. I mean, it's one of the most elite teams in the country. There's 2 teams and everybody else. So I mean, that was an elite team, and our intensity and the way we played gave us a great opportunity. Even with losing our starting quarterback after the 6th play, we were still very much in the middle of that game until that punt return. Because you're only a play away against defenses like that. Sometimes it's very stingy, then you can crack something. We had opportunities in the throw game that with wide open people for touchdowns. So there was opportunity. It wasn't like there wasn't. Going to be hard. It was hard, tough sledding in there running it, but they were loading the box so heavily that there was opportunities in the throw game.
Even like right after Saturday's game, you were kind of like still sort of shocked by how early in the game AB went down.
Right.
It seemed like you were still processing it, but
Yeah.
With AB situation, with AJ situation, it's kind of one of those things in the preseason that's like worst case scenario here that you kind of brace for and all. Like this is one thing we might have to navigate. We don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any team in the country wants that to happen on any level. And we experienced it firsthand last year when we lost Anthony. I mean, we've been down that road. We were playing at a high level last year, and at that point in time, and any team is going to get affected that way. That's not. See, here's what goes on. We have a lot of confidence in E.J. Perry. E.J. Perry is going to be one heck of a football player. The biggest problem you have in college football is with the amount of hours that you have and the time demands, that it's hard. You can't get 2 quarterbacks with the equal amount of reps to get them ready, or one or the other. One's going to suffer. And it isn't like Anthony has been here for 5 years. So you're trying to, E.J. suffered from the standpoint which a lot of backup quarterbacks have to do, is not getting the right amount of reps. Now, in the summertime, he had a ton of reps. Was playing at a really high level. And I would assume this week that EJ will get, certainly, at a minimum, a fair amount, a lot more reps than he had 1 week ago. And that position, as you guys know, everything's hinged on that position. You saw what happened with the Patriots. I mean, it's that production at that position is critical, and they're the leaders. They're the they're the greatest. That's how that rolls. And then so you want that guy who holds so much control of that offense and that team to have the maximal preparation for every game. So for EJ, he didn't have that. And that's what's tough when those things happen like that. You're usually given a chance to have the next week and get more preparation. You can have a much better opportunity. That's why that's so impactful when that happens in a football game. Now, some people have guys that are backups that are 4th and 5th year players. That can help you a little bit because they have a little bit more bank of experience. Or even possibly more game experience, because you've been able to get up more significantly during the week, during the season. There's a lot of things that can help that a little bit. Even last year when Anthony got hurt, Darius certainly at least had more game experience and had more time in the program. But I want you to know that E.J. Perry is a very talented player. I think you guys got a good vision of that. He can throw it, he can run it, he's got tremendous presence and courage. But he needs, on a specific game plan during the week, you need those reps at a high level to give yourself your best opportunity, especially when you're playing at the level that we were playing against. It's not, you can compensate it, overcompensate it sometimes on some other opponents, but on that one, and then your tailback is not able to play at the level that he's capable of playing at, and was out of the game at some point there in the 4th period. I mean, that just is what it is. I mean, and it's hard. And yet you didn't see that team ever stop competing for 1 second. So that shows you where I think our team and our program is. There's a lot of teams out there that, with their starting quarterback and with a healthy starting running back, wish they could have played it at the level that we played it at right there. Oh, we're getting EJ reps. I mean, we're rolling. Yeah. I mean, the good news is on the reverse of the thing, good news, that's probably not the right way to categorize that, but on the reverse flip of that is, if Anthony gets less reps, he's certainly had so many reps during the season, he's got a little bank. So that's not perfect either because he's still a young player and needs all those looks that you can possibly give. But at least he has a bank of looks to this point. So, EJ's going to have an opportunity to get a lot more looks than what he had a chance last week to do. And where that really shows up is in the throw game. That's where it shows up more than the run game. It's the throw game because of the multiple coverages and the things that you have to do in the throw game that are necessary. And, and he's got it. I think he does a great job throwing a ball and reading defenses. It's just those specific coverages looks. There were some of those coverages we saw were a little bit more unique. They weren't vanilla. No. No. Oh, in the game? Yes. Of course. You put a young guy in a game, doesn't really have a lot of game time in there. Yes. I mean, it makes you have to process and think about every call because you have a game plan registered a certain way, and now you're saying, you're trying in real quick time to process this may be best to attack this, but what's best to build the confidence of a young guy and not to expose him right away and try to build into it, which, again, is very difficult when you're playing against that level of team in game to do. And I think moving forward, you want to pay close attention to giving a guy a chance. I mean, shoot, we were still doing that with Anthony. I mean, honestly, you're talking about really essentially he's just about, probably has completed basically a full season of play, Anthony. So, I mean, he's still young in the process here, but EJ's very young in the process. And the psyche of that is important. I thought EJ came in and played with great courage and confidence. I was really impressed with that. And then as the game wore through and it became more evident that we needed to really engage in getting the ball down the field, that's where it gets more complicated, and more exposure is going to come.
Steve, when EJ entered the game, it looked like you guys kind of turned to a speed option of sorts. What went into that decision?
Read option.
Yeah, speed or read option. What went into that decision? I mean, you ran it more frequently, it looked like, than you had when Anthony was in there.
Yeah, we were.
Confidence there?
Well, no. I mean, it's quite frankly, it's a skill set thing. I mean, we were starting to really, little by little, have more and more of that in our game plan, even with Anthony, because he has dual threat capability. As I said to you guys earlier, we were slow with that, waiting, with his injury coming back, blah blah blah. But with EJ, I don't know if everybody realizes EJ is a exceptional athlete. I mean, he has got tremendous measurables. He's very fast, very explosive, great change of direction. You know, I mean, you'd be shocked by his measurables are elite, and he can throw it. So to put him in the game, he's very, very comfortable in an option setting. And so we wanted to let him utilize his legs to give us a little kick, to give us a little. We had one play, I can't remember which one it was now, soon after he had been in the game early on, he ran a read zone, was probably gone for a touchdown. And he lost his footing, and it was like a 6 or an 8 yard gain that was like, whoa, this thing's gone, because he's fast. And, that was a touchdown. So, but, you know, that's all part of it, you know, the amp of getting in the game, the adrenaline, you know, and you're playing fast, and this is all part of that stuff, you know. It's just all part of it. So he gives us another element. I mean, because Anthony's got a real dual threat capability to him, but EJ is legit fast, and EJ's got a really good arm as well. And so we're going to certainly utilize those skills. Absolutely.
Coach, that hit on Anthony looked like the kind of hit that's illegal at the college or illegal at the pro level, but
Yeah, probably. The people have told me that. Yeah, I don't know all the rules in the pros, but yeah.
Do you think the NCAA should look into changing that rule at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think the NCAA is really proactive in trying to do everything they can for player welfare. That's what's going on with all the, hits to the head and cut blocks, and really a lot of conversation about kickoff return teams, and they're really working hard, which I'm a real big proponent of, trying to make the game safer. So, I think that's reasonable to say that that's probably another rule change that could occur. I'm not on that committee per se, but I mean, that would make sense to me. They're trying in the NFL to really protect the quarterbacks at a high level, and I get that. And they take a lot of tough shots, and that was kind of a really unique thing, and there was certainly by no means any ill intent or anything like that. It was just, guys trying to play hard and part of the game, but I think that's a piece that I think we can help, taking some of the, it'll be controversial early, just like, the targeting rule is, and nothing's perfect, but I think these are all things that we can grow with to make the game safer.
After the game, I think Dabo mentioned that he called to check up on you and Anthony to check on Anthony's health. Is that pretty unique for an opposing coach?
Well, I mean, I think Dabo's that kind of guy. I wouldn't say it's unique, but I think it shows you that, I like Dabo a lot because I think Dabo's a great guy. I think he's a sincere, caring guy. I think Christian's a great guy and a sincere, caring guy. And I think, I think that was really terrific that they did that, and it speaks to, who they are. So I think it's good for college football, and these are good people. These are good guys. We all understand that you get on the field and you're battling against each other, and it's a tough sport. But at the end of the day, your thought process is you want the best for everybody. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. You don't want to inflict anything on anybody. You're just trying to do the best you can to make a play.